Hey guys, Moneyman 300 got another tuning video today. This time it's a Class S Lamborghini Murcielago, and this was based off of a request that I got. I don't remember if it was if they sent it to me on Xbox or on YouTube, but anyway, it was a request. Somebody wanted me to build this car out, and it's a super cool car. It was fun to build. Turned out really great. It's a great all-around car. Works on a variety of tracks. Going to work a little bit better on the speed tracks, but it handles really well. It's very well planted, and I was able to drive it with no assists at all, which is pretty rare in S-Class. Most people are using traction control on the leaderboards and even in the lobbies, but this car does really well without any assists at all, and I'm just really happy the way it turned out, and I've had an absolute blast driving it, and I think you guys are really going to like this one. So let's head on over to the track. Okay, so the rival that I have here is, he was in about 350th place at the time, although that's dropped a little. This is about a week ago. And I thought I was racing against another Murcielago. I actually picked a Gallardo. But either way, this was the lap that we ran out there. It did take me a few laps, but this is a short track, a 1-minute track. You can see I'm not doing any assists here. Car's really well balanced. Got good acceleration and good speed. And the car is running against handled just a little bit better than mine. But the Lamborghini was well, I shouldn't say the Lamborghini. They're both Lamborghinis. The Murcielago is definitely faster, so I was able to get him in some of these straightaways, although he had a pretty good jump there. But yeah, so right now it is the second. There's only 2 Murcielagos in the top 500 on this track, so this is Sebring International. So mine is the second one, so my time was the second, and it was like by 12 1,000, or something ridiculous like that. So it may not burn up the lobbies so much, but it's still capable to be a very good car, and I could have ran more. This by no means was a perfect lap that I ran here. Oh, watch this. I had him all the way. Watch what happens here. Oh, what just happened? Anyway, if you didn't see it, he nipped me out by like just barely. So I didn't. I was mad, so I kind of drove it off the track. But there was the final there. Look at that. Yeah, but yeah, so that was it. I didn't want to drive any more laps because I was frustrated after that, but let's go in the garage and take a look at the build and the tune. Okay, so here we are over in the garage. Let's hop in and take a quick look here. First thing, we'll hop over to our engine conversion area, and there is not any engine conversion you can do. You can do a drivetrain swap, and we did not do that. It's already a 4-wheel drive. You could take it to rear wheel, I guess, and get a bunch of PI back, but did not elect to do that. I like the all-wheel drive on that. And then the only option for aspiration is the turbo. So while we're in here, let's take a look at our numbers real quick. We have 7.6 speed, 5.9 handling, 9.1 acceleration, 9.1 launch, and 6.3 braking. 672 horsepower, 495 foot-pounds of torque, 3,256 pounds, 44% to the front, and 6.5 liters of displacement. So nothing in the engine conversion area for this car, so let's hop over into our engine area, and there is only one engine part on this, and I believe it is valves. So we will have the race valves on here. Everything else on the engine is all stock there, so we will move on over to platform and handling. There isn't a brakes option. These already come with race brakes, but we're going to have race across the board here. Everything in here is race, and I wanted to highlight something here. It's critical to get the weight out of this car. If you take a look, just by going down one, it adds 400 pounds. Look at the weight of this thing. You don't do any weight reduction, and this thing weighs almost 4,000 pounds. It is heavy. So race weight reduction is huge in this car. It's one of the reasons that this car is a little more difficult to make competitive, because it starts so heavy, and you got to use some PI to get that weight out, unlike some of the Ferraris that start a lot lighter and are a little bit easier. But anyway, everything races inside of here, and we go over to our drivetrain area, and in the transmission we're going to have the sport transmission. This is one of those where we're able to make a transmission upgrade without it, and it needs it. Had to tune that just a little bit. You want that tunable final drive ratio, and then the race differential. The driveline and the clutch are both stock. Go over into our tires, the tire compound. We're going to have the sport tire compound. Played around a little bit with different ones. Had race on there. Didn't feel like I needed it. Went here. Never did go down and try it without that. So one thing I could try if I thought I needed some more speed and power is to go stock on this. But it worked out well with the sport tire compound, so I left that there. Over to the width, I have the upgraded front and rear tire width. So we have both of those fully upgraded. On the wheels, I didn't do any wheel upgrades. I could not bring myself to replace the stock wheels on this car. Just couldn't do it. But if you wanted to, you could take like 8 pounds out of this car. If you go over here, there's like 8 pounds right there. These two wheels, I think there's a couple other ones. That one. And that gives you 8 pounds also. So you could actually take a little weight out of the car. You see I had it in there and I took it off. I'm like, oh man, I can't do it. I just couldn't do it. So I had no wheel upgrades on there, and that means I also didn't do anything with the wheel sizes either. So those are stock there. And the last area, we have both aero, front and back. So you're going to want that on this car and a lot of S-Class cars. So that's all of our parts. Let's hop in and take a look at the tune real quick. So our tire pressure, we got 27 in the front and 27 in the rear, being all-wheel drive. We have a 3.75 final drive ratio, and that's something that I think I bumped up a little bit. It started maybe around 310. Help with the acceleration, help get through the gears a little bit better. So did tune that. We have a fair amount of camber with negative 2.7 and negative 2.2. The toe, this toe is a default value, 0 and negative 2. I didn't take it out. I just didn't. I didn't add that in there. I just didn't take it out. I left it at the default. Didn't feel like I needed to tune that any further than that. And then I did bump up the caster angle to support the camber. It depends. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't, and I'll play around with it. Sometimes I'll lower it. It just felt a lot more stable when I had the caster angle a little bit higher, so I went with 6.0 on that. The roll bars are 16.41 in the front and 20.31 in the rear. That is so we could get the car to turn. That's what you see, the front a little bit softer. The rear means I probably spent more time on the front trying to get the car to trying to tune some of that understeer out, which is common with the all-wheel drive car. And the springs, same type of situation here. That and the weight distribution of the car, with only 44% of the weight being to the front and being a mid to rear mid-engine. I think it's considered mid-engine, but yeah. So the car's a lot heavier in the rear, so you're going to need stiffer springs in the rear. So we have 644.6, 820.3, and the ride height. I actually bumped the ride height up. Had it down lower, but I was really unstable off the turning strip, so I bumped that up 3.8 and 3.2. And then next ones, we have the rebound. It's pretty typical, pretty stiff in the for the rebound, pretty soft on the bump, 9.1, 10.1 on the rebound. Front bump stiffness at 1.5 with the rear at 2.0. Full aero, front and back on that. I think that's important on these cars. They do well when you put aero like that on them. So brake balance, pretty much my standard. Braking force was a little bit higher just because of the weight of this car. So I was at 53 and 135. And then the differential settings, they're going to be a little bit different than the standard, but I have 50 and 0 on the front, 70 and 0 on the rear, and then did bump up that balance just a little bit. I think the default might have been 70 to put a little bit more power towards the rear to make this act just a little bit more like a rear-wheel drive. So that's all the settings on here. It's a great car. I think you're going to like it. Like I said, I really love driving it. It's fun to take out in the multiplayer lobbies, and it does pretty well on a lot of different tracks. So hop out there, give it a try. If you don't want to put all the values in, you can just search for my gamer tag. I have it shared out there if you'd rather just download it and drive it. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.